Hello, I am Xarkun, and this is World of Warships Legends. Today we're going to be covering the patch notes for the October 2023 update, which drops on October 2nd, 2023. It's basically the Halloween update, and we'll go over all the content covered in these patch notes. Keep in mind, though, what you're seeing on the screen is the advanced version of the patch notes that Wargaming sends to all the community contributors the day before they actually get published. So, as such, some of the finer details might change, but I should have left a link to the final patch notes in the description. So, to begin with, this is, of course, the Halloween update. And there's a code right here that you can redeem to get one common container and three Type 3 Halloween camouflages, which I assume means new camouflages. Anyway, Halloween will soon be upon us, so there is a revamped Halloween event that will begin on October 16 with our old friend Rasputin set to make a return, and apparently it will be time to save the world from the forces of darkness again. But we have no more detail than that. A detailed blog or whatever will be published when we get closer to October 16th. But we do have some detail on an alternative line of British battleships coming to early access, and it's going to be available through crates, of course. We'll probably have the tier 5 through tier 7 or something along those lines. But basically, I think this is the British battle cruiser line from PC, which culminates at tier 10 with the St. Vincent, which is a ship that I own on the PC. And actually, I've grinded the entire alternative British battleship line on PC, where I thought on that game at least, it was a very fun and very effective line all the way up and down it, but it is a battle cruiser line. So much like the German battle cruiser line we already have in game, these things practically have no armor. Although they're very fast, they have good concealment, and of course, they have great HE and good, short fuse British AP. The St. Vincent, at the very least, which if we ever get that, it would probably be legendary tier, is more or less overpowered, and the entire line is very strong. Although, if you're the kind of battleship main whose only tactic is to bow tank, you will have a very, very difficult time in these British battleships because all of them, at least on PC, have overmatchable bows like 25 millimeters and no icebreaker protection like the Germans enjoy. So just keep that in mind. They very much will err toward the side of cruiser in the moniker of battle cruiser. Anyway, we've got a calendar event coming up apparently, and well, there's not much to say here except that the reward is exclusive Battleship Commander John Fisher, and we'll get an article that breaks down the details of the calendar event at some later time. Next up, we have the campaign, and the reward for this upcoming campaign is actually, believe it or not, a Tier 7 cruiser, which is excellent because the rest of them have been Tier 8. And as we all know, the Tier 8 premiums are basically incapable of making credits because of the service costs, whereas the Tier 7 premiums are the real credit earners in the game. So we're finally getting another Tier 7, and it's not a battleship, but a cruiser, specifically the Anchorage. Now, I never got a chance to play it. I know they had it rentable for a week or so, but I spent all my time playing the Hampshire instead. So I never did get my hands on the Anchorage. We'll have to see how it plays when it comes to the game. Of course, here's a breakdown of all the campaign rewards, blah, blah, blah. Then we get stuff to make the weebs happy. The Arpeggio of Blue Steel Ars Nova, whatever that is back. It's apparently an awesome collection of anime collaborations. We'll get commanders, skins, be available from October 2nd, right when the update drops, through November 6th. As usual, no real details here about that, but I'm sure it'll make some people happy. And then we get another season of Ranked, and this time it will be Tier 7 and Tier 8, so I'll probably actually play it. It will commence on October 3rd, and once again, we don't really have any more details than that. A couple things coming to the mobile version of the game, including the Halloween event, which will be nice for people on there. And they've added some optimization for graphics and stability and all that quick stuff. And it looks like they've improved the battle interface. So, if those of you out there who are watching this video play on mobile, you can hopefully expect some nice quality of life improvements. And then with the update, we get a premium ship, the British Tier 6 Premium Battleship Resistance, which I have literally never heard of until this moment as I'm reading these patch notes. But apparently, it has a high speed with engine boost. It's got rapid reload. Oh, and it's got those fun turning torpedoes. I know what that is talking about. The British battle cruiser line has those. They have their torpedo tubes underwater. So, the torpedo tubes can't rotate and fire torpedoes off an angle. They just fire them straight out. But these torpedoes will turn in the water to travel in the direction you aim them. It's a weird little gimmick, but it's kind of neat to watch, I guess. I assume it's probably only going to have one torpedo because that's how most of the British battle cruisers are on PC. But apparently, it's a very well rounded thing. I suspect it probably will be good, and of course, we'll check it out. And then on to the balance changes. There's only one, and I think pretty much anybody could have seen this coming from a mile away, but the USS Salem at Tier 8 is getting a nerf. The main battery reload speed is being decreased by a second. The armor for the bow, stern, and casemate has been reduced from 30 millimeters to 27, which I think is a good change. I don't think this thing should have armor quite as good as it had. And then, well, they improved some armor on the conning tower, but that's more or less irrelevant. And then reduced a little bit of the side armor as well. And they actually buffed the anchorage. They reduced the main battery reload time and reduced the turret traverse time, which is probably good because just looking at these numbers, and again, I never did play this ship, but these don't look like the best numbers to me. This definitely an improvement. So yeah, and that is pretty much it. Apart from a couple, random bug fixes, none of which I think are all that worth highlighting, and a couple other things here that I also don't think are worth highlighting. Aside from this, it says extra bureau points over the 3.5 million threshold are now converted to credits, with 1 point equaling 1 credit. That must be for those of you who have completed all the bureau projects and you just got a bunch of research points lying around. So maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's not. I don't know, but let me know what you think of the update in the comments. We will, of course, be streaming it as usual on Monday, and we'll be streaming again tomorrow on Friday as usual as well. So I'll see you all then. Give the video a thumbs up, consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.